which is a good thing. This is a very good thing because the sister child just got up and just did. I want to give y'all a little bit of like, I have to figure out how I'm gonna do this. How I'm gonna do this right here. Bear with me a moment. If you have listened to any of my episodes, either just audio, either here on the YouTube channel, you should know that I am very spirit inspired and spirit motivated. And maybe I need to get into a habit of when spirit gives me something to share, like writing it down or recording it and saving it for another time. That idea literally just came to me as I'm sitting here in the comfort of my intimate space, dressed very comfortably, and like, hey, well, this is a good thing you can't really see me, even though I was positioning the camera so that you could just see my face, but you can't even see my face. It's the wee hours of the morning, and just came out of my spiritual practices, and you know, I spoke a lot yesterday because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that's coming to the surface, and I think the things that are coming to the surface are not just like in our politics and in corruption, but I think things are just coming to the surface of everyone. So even, I'm gonna get some lighting together. Even if you are, let me go out to a calm area. See if I can get up without this falling. All right. Skills. So a lot of things are just coming to the surface in general because they need to in order to be dealt with and in order to be, here's a word I'm looking for, disintegrated. There we go. I think disintegrated is the proper word right there. You know, things have to come to the surface. They have to come to the surface to be disintegrated and to be released. So, I got up. I did my spiritual practices, as you know. I spoke of from the outside looking in of a parent and of a loved one that has been attempting to be supportive. But how can you support something that you really just don't understand? I don't think it's you can be efficient that way. You know, you can do things, but where does your efficiency lie at with what you're doing? You know, and just listening to Monique speak and going through my own experiences, I just feel, and I have come to the resolve that number one, I'm not carrying nobody else's shit. I'm not fighting anybody else's battle, especially not no adult person. Like, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm on the planet to do. I'm on the planet to be enlightened, to operate in my divinity, to inspire the divinity in others. It's already there. But, you know, people need to be reminded that the divinity is there. So I shared a lot of things yesterday. And what came to me just now, right? Because I got up and I left my space a certain way. And when I got up, it wasn't the way that I left it. And it's not because I didn't express how I would like it to be. It is because there was a disregard for it. And so I corrected it after I put my spiritual practices out there and did my spiritual practices. So what came to me was, and I put it as a post, if you treat yourself like shit, don't expect anybody to treat you any different. Now, some people treat shit differently. okay? And when I say shit, I mean you're not taking care of yourself. You're not prioritizing yourself. You're putting yourself in shitty predicaments. You're choosing shitty things to do with yourself. That's you treating yourself like shit, right? If you treating yourself like shit, don't expect anybody to treat you any different. When you walking down the street and you see a pile of shit, what you do? Anybody in their right motherfucking mind is gonna step around that shit. They gonna step around that shit. They ain't gonna sit there and be like, oh, look at the waste that just came out of some animal's ass, or in New York, some person's ass in the middle of the block. Oh, let me pick up this shit. And oh shit, you're so wonderful, even though you came out of somebody's ass. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. So if you are literally treating yourself like shit, then don't have any expectations for anybody. I don't care who they are, preacher, reverend, sister, brother, father, mother. Don't expect people to treat you any different than you treat your motherfucking self. You set the standard. You set the standard of how people treat you. And when you are choosing to put yourself in shitty experiences, when you are choosing not to take accountability for your weaknesses, if you're choosing not to acknowledge it and get past it and strengthen those weaknesses and work on yourself on a daily basis, you can't expect people to treat you like motherfucking gold. You treating yourself like shit. You're treating yourself like shit. As an adult, we're talking about adults here, okay? We ain't talking about children. We're talking about grown people, okay? Been on the planet over 21 plus years, okay? If you are treating yourself like, see, here's the thing. When you become an adult, your life is totally your responsibility. You are blessed if you have people who also care about you and who are around you. But those people are not responsible for your wellness. They're not. You're responsible for that. And if you're treating yourself like shit, what you're going to get is people that treat themselves like shit. Those are the only people that want to be around you. Nobody who value themselves, who love themselves, who care for themselves, wants to be around any individual that treats themselves like shit. They can love the person, but that doesn't mean that they want to be around them. Loving and forgiveness has nothing to do with access. Nothing. Nothing at all. I love people thousands of miles away who we may never have a conversation again. And that's okay. That's okay. My love doesn't mean that see, they taught love wrong. They just taught it wrong. They taught it wrong, just like how they taught how you're supposed to be godly, you're supposed to deny your flesh, and you're supposed to, no, you are supposed to be strengthen it in healthy ways, not deny it and act like you're not in a body when you are in a body. No, you are in a body. You should acknowledge and strengthen yourself in strong ways, physically, mentally, and of course spiritually, because that's how you're able to allow the spirit to act through you more efficiently. I mean, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And it used to be only information that was available to the elites. But now, we're in a time when that information is available to everybody. So there's no excuse. You may have to work at it. I'm not saying that you're going to have results overnight because you are treating yourself better. But I tell you one thing, you're going to start feeling better immediately. When you treat yourself good, you're going to feel good about yourself. And you ain't going to be worried about what anybody else is motherfucking doing. You just not, because you gotta know I'm treating myself good. I'm doing the very best that I can with what I know, and I ain't worried. And you're gonna acknowledge your weaknesses. You're gonna acknowledge the points you need to work on. You're gonna acknowledge that. and you're going to work on those points. And as you work on those points, you get better. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every challenge because guess what? From the very first traumatic thing that I mean, majorly traumatic thing that could have pivoted my life in a downward spiral, but instead pivoted my life in a rapid upward spiral, I recognize what works for me. And I think it's not just something that works for me. I think it's something that's universal. I think it's something that works for everyone. And that is consciously tapping in and acknowledging the divine part of you, your own divinity, the God within you, that force that's beating your heart. I know from my experience, and I can't tell you how for you to do that. That might be you becoming part of a religion. That might be you going to a certain church. It can mean a lot of different things. That might be you going out into nature. That it may mean a lot of different things for different people. But what I do know is tapping into your spirituality is the way you get over any and every challenge. So let me tell you how my life functions. And it's not that I'm encouraging any challenges, but any challenges that comes near me, it only sends me to the next level spiraling upward because I am going to acknowledge, I'm not going to stuff, I'm not going to carry, I'm going to acknowledge however I am feeling, and then I am releasing it, and then I am going straight to the divine because I want to know what's going on. And 10 out of 10 times, the divine reveals to me, oh, you leveling up. Oh yeah, you about to be on Front Street. This is just training grounds for you. Because people are in those same conditions that you're witnessing, and they are going to appreciate your authenticity. They're going to appreciate you working on you and reiterating how important it is to be conscious of your divinity and to operate from that state. They're gonna be like, oh, they were wondering. They were wondering how she getting over this, how she getting over that, how she dealing with this, how she dealing with that. Let me tell you, yesterday, right? Now I'm not no social worker, but I have done community work. I've even created a community organization at one point. But there were things I was lacking as far as having a board that really gives a crap about the community, having a substantial network of people. You know what I mean? I had like one or two people that were like, well, not even one or two people. I had a few people that come, but most of the people came, they weren't coming just to serve. They were coming for a paycheck. They were coming for something, right? Anyway, because I dealt in that sector, I have folders of resources, okay? Because I have been advocating for a loved one, I have been calling places. And sometimes when I call a place, they're like, well, who am I speaking with? They don't realize that this is a relative of mine because I'm professional on the phone and I'm professional when I'm conversating with them. So I know what advocacy is. I know what advocacy is because number one, I've had to advocate for myself, and I've also advocated for others. I've advocated for people in the community, and I've advocated for loved ones, for relatives. So I know what advocacy is. So I guess a social worker is different from an advocate. But I kind of expected this is my expectation, social worker to have like comparable operatives. I expected a social worker, especially there's a social worker that's on site. And I like their personality, they're a great person and everything, but they're a bit young. They are a bit young, and I don't know what they're teaching about social work. Like, again, I'm not a social worker. I didn't go to school for social work. I went to school for business. So I don't know, their modus operandi. I just know what I have witnessed as an advocate, as a community activist to a certain extent. It wasn't a whole bunch of people. I only assisted a few families in Brooklyn. I only assisted a few people in the community individually. So it's not like, oh, I assisted hundreds and hundreds of people. I haven't gotten there yet because I think for that capacity, you need a team, you need a staff. You cannot just be one person doing all of that, and also working on yourself and maintaining yourself at the same time without a network. Like, that's some superwoman shit. That's some Marvel superhero shit. I'm good. I'm good. I'll watch the superheroes. Okay, I'm good. I'm good just being me. So with that being said, my expectations were a bit high because I know the work that I've done. So, and I just was like, I just got to the point, it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I have done it for so long. And if this person was very serious, they would be doing it for themselves. It takes nothing. When you want something, when you want to find out information, we are in the day and age where you can get it. You can search it. I did it for my grief counseling. Like when I was heavy in grief many, many years ago, that's what I did. Like I looked it up. I literally looked it up. What are the stages of this thing? Because this shit feels horrible. What can I expect? And it reassured me, it educated me, and it allowed me to not blindly go through that process, but be aware of how the process even worked, because there's professionals who have studied it, and their studies is out there. Their studies is available for us. So I share that example to say it goes with anything. There's no excuse in this day and age with these things we have right here not to find what you need to support you in being your best self. Now, it may take some searching. I'm not saying the first thing you search you should utilize or anything, but you have that opportunity if you want to do it for yourself. And I know that. So I have taken a position that my assistance is not really there with it's just saying, like, you got to show me. I am ultra guarded because the words that were given to me were not followed up with the same actions. You have to prove it. I don't trust. How can I trust an individual that tell me one thing and do another one? I'm like always now, if that person is near me, out my side eye, like even whether my eye is actually side eyeing, it's out my side mind. Like, okay, I'm gonna see. There, you can't cheer for somebody who ain't trying. Ain't no team. I know. Let's use sports as an analogy. Ain't no sports team, and the players are just not playing the motherfucking game. They just come onto the court and they're just like walking around in their uniforms. Ain't nobody. First of all, the coach is gonna have an issue with them. Ain't nobody gonna be like, yay, go ahead, just walk around the court. No, you gonna have to do work. You gotta do work. So you want a cheerleader, you want somebody cheering you on, what are you working towards? What are you doing? Your actions, not what you saying, what you doing, how you treating yourself. So you treat yourself like shit, but you want somebody to cheer you along and treat you any differently? Nah, you gotta treat yourself differently. You gotta treat yourself differently. You gotta treat yourself differently, right? So back to the social worker. So what came to me was, listen, you have a village, but see, it takes a village to raise a child. Villages act different with adults. They act different with adults. So I go down to the social worker. The social worker's like, okay, you got insurance? Of course. Like, the business is straight. The business is straight. You know, I have done all that I could and can with getting business straight. It ain't because, oh, there's no way to cover it. No, there's insurance. Yeah, they got insurance. They got insurance and they got choices. They got choices where they can get care wherever it's necessary for them to get proper care from, but they have to want to get the care. And that's the difference with an adult. With a child, it's different. Okay? But as an adult, especially as an adult supposedly in their right mind, then now what is the issue? There's help available. You have it if you want it. If you really want it, you're gonna have it. You're not gonna treat yourself like shit and then be like, oh, I ain't shit. Well, if you're not shit, stop treating yourself like shit. Right? So back to social worker. Social worker gets the information, and I'm expecting, as an advocate, that they were going to advocate for this individual. I'm expecting they're going to like call on the phone, and they're going to call different places, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And then like an hour or so maybe went by, and the social worker came and said, well, here's the hotline, something that very easy accessible from Google. And I'm wondering, well, why did you even take the insurance card if you were just going to provide the hotline information? Like what was the whole point of that? And it just brought awareness to me that my standpoint, because I actually care about the person. See, it's different when you do a job than actually caring about an individual, right? Is that, and even as an advocate, I care for the people that I serve, but it's different. It's different when it's a job. It's different when you have a supervisor, because you can't just. Sometimes people don't just move on their own accord. They have to get an okay, and sometimes they go to get an okay, and the okay is like, nah, this is how you gonna do it. And it's like, well, I said this, no, but you're gonna do it this way. And it's like, all right. That's why I like the freedom. That's why, although I have toyed with working inside of other organizations, I think I'm best just having my own. I think I'm best just, revitalizing that organization, maybe even evolving it to, excuse me, people, because I told you I just got up. Is that a hair or is that some soap? Oh, that's the soap. But I wanted to come on here and just share that. Because I feel like that's something that needs to be shared. And I just wanted to unpack that situation, because the dynamics change drastically when you are an adult versus you being a child. And your mentality might be one of adolescence and everything. And for me, that's a luxury that I really didn't experience, because when I made adult choices as an adolescent, I had to continue to make adult choices. It wasn't like, oops, and I was at the age of adolescence. There was no oops. It was, you made an adult decision, you made an adult choice, be responsible, and deal with it. And that's what I did. Now, people talk me against it, and I appreciate the woman I am today, and I appreciate the growth, because it has grown me to points. And I don't know, I can't say if I would have decided differently, I would have had a different life. It's possible though. It's possible. It's very possible. It's very possible that I wouldn't have been so quick to choose a husband and therefore chose the wrong one. It's possible I would have finished college. It's possible that I would actually have a network of people in my life right now. Those things are very fucking possible, but they're just not my current experience. And I think that I'm not the only one who that's not the current experience for. I think there are individuals that are pretty similar to me who have made a choice, made a decision as an adolescent, and had to jump straight from adolescence to adulthood. And as a result, there were certain things that were not socially developed within them. But nonetheless, they still had to be responsible and get to a certain point And when I say responsible, I'm talking about providing roof, providing meals, providing clean clothes, not just for themselves, but also for the lives that they brought into the world, the lives that they chose not to abort. You know what I'm saying? And I think that now, as a more mature lady, that if I find a young lady that's dealing with that task, I'm not going to tell her what to do with her body, but I'm certainly, if I have that opportunity to have that conversation with a young lady, I am certainly going to do my very best to prepare her for the task ahead, because that would have been appreciated. I didn't get that. There were no, my aunties were MIA. My mother was MIA. I was in foster care, and the foster mother just was like, don't do that. She didn't explain to me why not to do that. She didn't explain to me if I chose to do that, what it would be. She just gave me an ultimatum. Don't do that. If you do that, you got to get out of here. And little did I know, at that time, I wasn't the only person she gave an ultimatum to. She also gave an ultimatum to um, the lady whose son impregnated me, because the lady whose son impregnated me lived upstairs, and the foster mother was the owner of the house. I just became aware of that. And that lady held a grudge for many years, and I didn't even know why. I didn't know why my son's grandmother was holding a grudge against me. And it was all because that lady put her out. It ain't have shit to do with me. How you blame a child? First of all, you let this child come in your house and fuck. You were there. So you mad at that lady? That's people not taking accountability though for their own choices. And I ain't gonna go any deeper into that. I can just reflect on my own experiences and say, I wish that Miss Francis, that's her name, I wish Miss Francis would have sat me down and had a conversation with me, instead of, don't you do that, and if you do that, you gonna have to go. Because that just made me defensive. That just made me like, I'm doing it. You didn't explain to me why I shouldn't do it. You didn't say go to school, because school wasn't even a big thing. It was like, oh, I'm there, you getting a check as long as I'm in by a certain time. You're not on me like you on your natural children. You know what I'm saying? You working, you maintaining your household, you got a husband, you got a brand new baby. She had a baby that was like her own baby that she had just recently gave birth to. That baby had to be like 3-4 years old. Miss Francis had to clearly be, I want to say she was, because she had daughters that was like teenagers, maybe even when I was in her 20s. So Miss Francis had to be over 40. Okay, so she was dealing with her own stuff. You know, she was dealing with her own stuff and probably just focused on trying to make ends meet and be the best mother and wife for her family. But she decided to be a foster mother. She decided to open up her house, and maybe for her it was just like extra money. But when you open up your house to be a foster parent, you are taking on the responsibility of parenting that child, not just providing meals and a roof over their head, but actually providing guidance too, you know? So I just wanted to share that. If I ever have that opportunity to speak with a young lady who is being promiscuous, who has gotten herself pregnant, I'm going to let her know, listen, I'm going to sit her down. Listen, this is a very tough job. Okay, and I want you to be prepared for this. And I want you to know it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And these are the things you should do. Get a network. Like, get a network. I don't think anybody told me the importance of a network. I had to find out way down the line that there's an importance in having a network. There's an importance in doing your very best to be still at a certain point in your life, which is productive for you. Because it takes time to build a network. It takes time to build relationships. And if you bounce it from here to there, you don't have the time to build substantial relationships because you're always bouncing around, always moving around. So you gotta be still. And there's resources. Like, I didn't even know that resources were available for housing, for any of that stuff. Like, nobody had those conversations with me. And it's fucked up because those conversations should have been had with every young lady that was in the system, and not wait till she's 17 to have the conversation. If she has a child, you should be having that conversation with her immediately. You should be letting her know, listen, yes, there's rules here to the group home, but I want you to know, because you know you only here until 18, sometimes 21, that after you can stay here until those times, but after you leave here, there are things in place for you. Like that, you shouldn't wait till a person's 17 to have that conversation with them. You should have that conversation. If they have a child, if they're a mother, you need to have that conversation right away. I don't care how old they are. They could be 13 years old in a mother and child group home. There are 13-year-olds inside of mother and childs, okay? Because I was 15. I wasn't that far from 13. So I know. You need to have that conversation. Their mother, they need to know. You need to start showing them not just the institutional way of living, but you need to also show them how to plan and prepare for after they leave the institution, because the institution is something that is temporary. They need to know that. And it shouldn't be, oh, well, if we like you, we gonna tell you that this is available to you. I mean, come on. I hope it's better. I don't know what it's like. I haven't worked or been in contact with those type of facilities for over 20 years, but I do hope that it's better, because I know that there are still young ladies, unfortunately, that may not have families that they can lean on after they have made a decision. I didn't have no family to lean on. I had to deal with it. So my perspective is not just a perspective of assumption. My perspective is a perspective of experience. And so, therefore, I can't comprehend an adult that's making choices. My thing is going down. An adult that's making choices for themselves to not be accountable for the choices that they're making. You're going to be accountable. Things are not going to be the same. You can't make a choice to put yourself in a predicament and expect people to treat you like you didn't make that choice. You got to take accountability for that choice. You got to start making better choices with yourself, and you have to continue to make better choices with yourself. You don't go back and forth. Once you decide that you want to have a good life, then you do what's necessary to have a good life. If that means going for help, getting help, then that's what you do. I don't need it, I'm good. You don't wait for somebody else to tell you that you need it. It's evident that you need it, because if you didn't need it, you wouldn't still be making wrong choices. You'd be making choices that are healthy for you. So again, help is available, knowledge is available, wisdom is available. Those things are not only available, but they're more valuable than gold. Get you some and apply it to your life and treat yourself good, because as I started this show and this episode, if you treat yourself, if you treat yourself like shit, don't expect anybody else to treat you any different. Don't. It's not practical. It ain't. Nobody, like I said, nobody walks down the street, sees a pile of shit, and want to pick it up and cuddle it and love on it. Nobody. They see the shit, they walking around it. They smell the shit, that stink. They walking around it. If they accidentally step in the shit, they're gonna feel away. They're gonna feel a motherfucking way. If a bird shit is shit. And if you are putting yourself in shitty situations and making shitty choices with your life, then how are you treating yourself? If you don't learn, you gotta learn. You gotta learn. And when you learn that, hey, this is shit right here, can't nobody tell you it ain't shit. You know it's shit. You don't know that shit is shit. It's shit. It is shit. It's all shit. You think if there's shit on the ground, motherfucker sprinkle some glitter on it, it's gonna change it from being shit? Nah, it's still gonna be shit, just shit with glitter on it. So don't let nobody glitter no shit up to you in your brain and your mind and make you think that shit ain't shit. Mistreating yourself, mistreating your body is you treating yourself like shit. Not taking accountability for your weaknesses and what you need to work on is you treating yourself like shit. Like, own your stuff. Own who you are. As an adult, ain't no room for excuses. Ain't shit gonna change until you start valuing yourself enough to not accept shit for your life. To not put yourself in shitty situations, not make shitty choices and then get an attitude because people acknowledge that you put yourself in shit. You can smell it. You can smell it. You can see it. You can't hide that shit. And that's another thing, like I was talking about with, I gotta go and address Momo's son. Momo's son, you could cut your beard, line it up, but shit gon' smell. Shit gon' smell. Shit gon' smell. So again, like I said in that episode, you need to heal. I pray for your healing. I pray for everybody's healing. But we are in the time where the truth is coming to the surface. So I'm going to deal with this, my truth. And I'm going to be in it, and I'm going to handle it, and I'm going to release that shit. Because not only may it inspire somebody else to grow, it is certainly reflective of my own growth. Absolutely reflective of my own growth. And that's what I'm here to do. Operate as my best self, grow, be conscious of my divinity, and inspire others to be conscious of their divinity. Because that's what's going to do it. That is the secret, people. I didn't say religion. Divinity. That's spirituality. That's you getting in tune. Religion may be the way for you. And if it is, go for it. It's just not necessarily the way for me. But it might be the way for you. So try it. If it's working, if you feel in tune with your higher self, with your divinity, based on the religious organization that you have chosen to be a part of, hey, go for you, baby. Do that shit. We need people just to recognize that there's more than the flesh and that they are more than the flesh. And when you recognize that you're more than the flesh, then you're not going to operate just by the flesh. Of course, you're going to acknowledge the flesh. I ain't telling you ever to deny your flesh, but recognize there's something larger about you than your flesh. You got divinity in you. You got God in you. You got God force in your body. So you stay with that. You can talk to that. You can meditate with that. And it will answer you. But you need to make it your purpose and be clear. Be very clear what you say. Listen, I need clarity. I need you to give me the right things to say. I need you to give me the right actions to do. I need to be able to decipher the divine voice than these other influences out there in the world. You need to be clear. Consistently. Not just one time. Like, oh, I'm going to just say this one thing and that's it. Everything's going to be great. Nah, baby. Consistency is what's going to get it for you. So thank you for tuning into the SupaTea Podcast Show. Got my little vinegar water. It's part of my little morning thing now. I feel good about it. And I'm happy that I know now that this microphone is working because I was able to look up, I was able to look at the, and this is my book right now that I'm reading, Act Like a Success, Think Like a Success. As you can see, I've read it already a few times. I need to get like book covers and stuff because my book should not be looking like this, the covers. I got some, look at the binder. You could tell. I bought this book. This book was brand new. I don't know whether I bought it brand new. I want to say I did buy it, but I don't know. But Act Like a Success, Think Like a Success. And when you read this book, you find out that a lot of things that others try to throw him under the bus about, and again, I don't know him personally, but he admits to it. He admits to it. He admits to it. He's very vulnerable in this book. So get it. And I think that's the reason why he's not addressing a lot of the things that's coming to the surface for Cat. And I think Cat Williams have held so much down over the years. So I'm happy that he is releasing the things that he has held down. And I really pray the success and the reconciliation of him and these other people that's in his field, because there's levels to life, is all I'm gonna say. And yes, when you live with integrity and you live a certain way, you're gonna rise up differently than others who may have made compromises, indeed. But just because a person makes a compromise doesn't take away from the good that they do. People make compromises for many different reasons. Sometimes they don't know another way. Sometimes they have children that they don't want to see go through hardship, and they don't want to take another type of compromise, because the reality of it here in America, melanated, like, I feel we all just doing the best the fuck that we can. And sometimes when you see somebody get into a certain position, you feel like, well, they should be this way, but we don't know what it took for them to get there. And yeah, maybe they did compromise some of their integrity to get there. Maybe they sacrificed part of themselves. But haven't we all sacrificed some things? We all have sacrificed things. So who's to say one sacrifice is different than another sacrifice? A sacrifice is a sacrifice because the shit just was not laid out easy for us, especially if you didn't have a family, and if you didn't have a support network, and even if you did, all those people came with their own ideas and ideologies, and a lot of people did just suck it up and just say, well, that's just the way it is. They had to see, they have to experience that it don't gotta be that way. You may be strong enough to recognize it don't gotta be that way, but that don't mean the other person is strong enough to recognize that. So have some compassion for each other. And I don't mean that you allow people to mistreat you. That just means when you have compassion, that don't even mean you have to interact with the motherfuckers. When you have compassion, you're not holding anything negatively because of somebody else's actions. You just recognizing that it is what it is. So that's how I feel about what's going through the air right now with the comedians. I wish them all success, and I feel like they all are doing something positive. He has a thing that helps young men that doesn't have fathers, So I ain't saying he's perfect. I ain't saying he's a perfect human being, but I know this is a good book. He's very vulnerable in this book, and if you are serious about your success, and again, I'm not getting endorsed for this, okay? I'm not. Not yet. They ain't coming to get this do-rag, fake moo-moo. It's really a big-ass scarf, lady. They ain't coming for me. They might be, but I don't think they is. I don't fit the status quo, okay? I don't fit their aesthetics. But if they do want to come for me, I can endorse it now. I can, but no, honestly, all jokes aside, this is what is helping me right now. But my biggest help is the divine and being connected to my divinity consciously and speaking it forth, using my tongue to have that be in the driver's seat of my life. And it reveals, sometimes it pushes me. Like I said when I first started this episode, I see how I can get better, and I'm gonna work on it. I gotta write the stuff down, so I can come up here looking all polished for y'all. But sometimes I feel like y'all need to see unpolished. Sometimes I feel like you just need to see a person not dressed the fuck up all the time. Like literally, I just got up so you can see like I'm just as human as you. I have emotions just like you, and my happiness and my joy is a choice that I make every day, that I work on every day. My spiritual practices is an everyday thing, and that's one thing that every successful person says. Every one of them have practices that they do on a daily basis. Every one of them. So that's a secret for you. Wherever you are, you don't have to stay there. You can see your way out of there with your imagination, with your practices, because your practices build your character. Your character builds your personality. And I ain't saying it's an overnight thing, but I know things are shifting quite rather fast nowadays. It ain't like it was before. So just know that. And whoever came in, thank you. I'm going to put my links later. So I'm just going to share this now. And whoever came in, thank you for sticking around. And have a great day. Happy Thursday. I'll stop this thing. It's weird with the tablet because things are in different places here. You see my hand? But how good? I just got to know where's the camera at. That's all I need to know. Where it at? And then I'm looking at it. Even though it ain't where I'm used to it being.